This is The Talking Dead, a podcast dedicated to the AMC TV show The Walking Dead.
Hey everybody, my name is Chris, and my name is Jason, and this is The Talking Dead number 72 from Monday, March 12th, 2012. Wow, what's so exciting? What's so exciting? 72 is exciting. That's kind of exciting. We're hitting 100 before you know it. Well, I don't know. Well, now you said it's going to be after I know it. Yeah, probably. So, before we get started today, happy Girl Scout birthday to you, Jason. It's my Girl Scout birthday, or is it the birthday of the Girl Scouts? It is the, let's see, today marks the founding of the first Girl Scout troop in the United States. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that exciting? So happy Girl Scout birthday day to you. Well, thank you very much, Chris. Alrighty, so we have an awesome show. We're going to recap Better Angels. We've got some feedback, and of course, holy crap, did you see that? Before that, there's a couple things I want to address. Oh, and there's nothing major, just a couple of housekeeping type things. Okay. The first of which is that some people have noticed our website being really slow and annoying, and it takes a long time for podcasts to download. Oh, really? And it seems to have to do with our host throttling us because of all the demand, which is kind of a huge bummer. So I'm looking into solutions for it. We're figuring out what to do, figuring out, absolutely when it's worse and what causes it. All that's the easy part. And we'll sort something out hopefully in time for next week's podcast after the season finale. Okay. But we'll see. If we can't figure that out, then it'll be in time for season 3. Hooray! When there's a lot of time to figure it out. So if you are experiencing that, I really apologize, and just stick with it. You will get your episode. Shortly after. Well, hopefully not too long. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. You can go to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast there, and download it. Yeah, it's kind of the same problem though. It still comes off of our server, right? It comes down really slow. And it comes down really slow. Yeah. So there's issues, and I'm working on them, and hopefully it doesn't drive anyone too crazy. No, that's good. Also, Joel from Minnesota wrote an email to us and wanted to know what our theme song was. Oh. So I thought I would let Joel know that it's a song called Money City Maniacs by Sloan. Sloan, yeah. S-L-O-A-N. Yes, it is. Okay, so they're a Canadian band from Halifax, and they've been around a long time. And Money City Maniacs is off one of their records, which I can't remember right now. And as you can see, I can barely remember the name of the band or the name of the song. Sloanmusic.com. Go there and check out their great band. Yeah, they're awesome. They've been around for a long time and have a lot of cool stuff. Early stuff is really Beatles type influence. If you're into that you might dig it. And if not, they've got some good old rock tunes just like the one we use for our opening. Yeah. So there you go. Having all that said, it's time to do this.
Better Angels.
That's right, we are going to review and recap Better Angels this week. Excellent. So our cold open this time is Dale's funeral, and Rick's making a nice speech about honoring Dale. Now, intercut with that are scenes of Shane, Andrea, Daryl, and T-Dog driving up from the farm, checking a perimeter fence of some kind, and then killing zombies. It was a great scene. It really was. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on at first, though, is the only thing. Really? Well, I knew literally what was going on screen. They were killing zombies and clearing stuff out. So figuratively, you were confused? Well, I was like, why are they showing us this? Is this important to, are they, like, is this important what's happening right now? Is this happening in the future? Is this, I wasn't sure of the context at all. Well, I think it was important to show their frustration and their, the deep emotions at losing Dale. So they go out and they want to make sure they're safe, because all of a sudden, in the midst of their little haven, Dale gets cut down, and without any warning whatsoever. And so they want to check the perimeter. They go out and they check the perimeter. They find a little group of zombies, and they get very chilly, and they kill them, and they get very angry and start. Yeah, I just wasn't sure about whether, is this just a random scene they're showing us, or is it something from the episode we're going to get to later, like a week or two ago when we saw what was happening in the future of that episode, right? I just wasn't sure about that. It was a cool scene. There was some awesome zombie kills there. Andrea put her pitchfork up through the chin and out top of the head. Yeah, now she's the hair. She was the Reaper a couple weeks ago, but now she's the haymaker. But actually, so I just thought it was interesting. Now she has this new weapon that she loves, and it's a pitchfork. Yeah, she went from rifle to scythe to pitchfork. The effect there, I didn't think looked that great. No, it wasn't. It was about on the same level as the scythe through the skull. Oh, I thought it was worse. Really? Yeah, I thought it was worse. Like, it wasn't as dangerous for the people around, but no, it wasn't. But I don't know. It was a quick cut, but I didn't think it was good. Yeah. So anyways, we got some good stuff there, but we go to credits, and when we come back, the group is standing around talking about moving everyone into the farm for safety. So we got two things before the credits. One is we got Shane is now the shoveler. He's the shoveler. He's the shoveler because there was a great shot of him taking the top part of the skull off the zombie. Doesn't that remind you of that movie? Well, yeah, that's where I got it from. It was is he called the shoveler? His name is the shoveler. I don't remember the movie title. Great start. Yeah. So and the second thing is we talked last week about the music not bleeding into the actual cold open. Right. And this time it did. So back to that. So back to that. So the two times does not make a trend, and that's proven correct. That's right. Just makes a coincidence. I guess so. Just coincidence. Couple episodes in a row, and now we're back to the normality of it all. That's right. So we come back and the group's standing around talking about moving to the farm. As I said, for safety, which makes sense. Finally, should have done this a long time ago. Hershey says that. Yeah, I think in the scene. Andrea asked about patrols, and so that's what they were doing in the cold open. Right. They were out patrol. So I don't think it really has anything to do with anything other than it was just an interesting way to intercut that speech that Rick was giving the monologue again. Right. So they're out patrolling. Rick mentions again taking Randall out with Daryl this time, and Shane questions him on it. Like, still worried about that? Really? We're back on that. I thought we were gonna kill him. I was happy. Yeah, exactly. Rick asks Andrea to keep an eye on things while he's out, and she doesn't want to babysit Shane. She says, but he agrees to do it anyway. Well, she was going to do it all along. She just wanted to bitch about it a little bit before she agreed. Yeah, I don't really blame her, for that, but still, she kind of made a big deal. She did, but she's full of hearts. She's Rick says every time I leave, I don't want all hell to break loose. Well, stop leaving. Quit leaving. Everything will be fine. So we cut to a scene now with Carl coming to see Shane and tell him about the zombie from last episode. I didn't think it was going to come that quick. You think so? I didn't think so. I thought maybe they dragged it a bit, and Carl would be all tormented and go into a dark place because he thinks he's responsible for Dale's death, but they really got right to it. He's a very well-grounded little kid. If totally weird and creepy. Well, yeah, in given the situation, somebody to go seek some kind of solace with anybody under those kind of circumstances means that it just proves how mature Carl is. Yeah, that's true. So I thought it was really good. I probably would have done that. I would bruise over it for at least a couple of days before I said anything to anybody, and I probably would have been drunk. There you go. Which never happens. Never happens. But Carl goes to talk to Shane and he tells him about it, and he wants to give him back the gun, but Shane doesn't keep it. Right. Except Carl doesn't want to keep it because he's never touching the gun again. Yeah, not likely. Sorry, Carl. Not likely. Yep. Next, we go to Daryl, who's boarding up the barn, and Randall is just struggling inside. Yep. And what they showed us is that his wrists had become very bloody from all this. It was kind of gross. We got a few shots of that in the episode. So he's been sitting there for a long time, blindfolded and struggling against handcuffs. That's gotta not be very fun. Well, I would think so. And have a mock execution. Yeah, that's right. A mock execution. Not really a mock execution, but mock executions are actually considered torture. But a failed execution. Yeah, it was an actual execution that didn't quite finish. It was it's not botched execution because I would have shot and zero got shot, but what do you call it? Pretend? No, it wasn't pretend. It was like you got right to the break and then said no, we changed our mind. So it was a hesitated execution. I don't know. It was a different for some execution in the name of torturing the poor guy. Yeah, so yeah, that was pretty bad. But we get a few shots of his bloody wrists in this episode. That was the first one. Inside farm, people are moving in, and Maggie asks Glenn to move into a room with her, but he declines. Yep. I don't know what's wrong with that. That kid's got some problems. He has got some problems. He was afraid of the farmer's father. You get a farmer's daughter, you watch out for the farmer. Yeah, for the farmer's father. But I think she's a farmer too, so it's true. I think what we got, I think he got the okay from him like last episode. Yeah. Here's a watch. Go time yourself, but don't tell me what. Go time yourself. Do it as long as you know what time it is. So anyways, he declines and says he's gonna go upstep in that corner over there. Dining room, I think. Dumbass. Wow. Pretty bad. So the next scene we get them moving into the farm, and people helping Lori takes out a truck and so on. Herschel comes up. And that was interesting because in the course of their conversation, he referred to the farm as our home. Yep. He's accepted everybody. Everyone's there for the long haul now. That's good. Yeah, one big happy family. One big family anyways. Lori goes to talk to Shane, who is on the windmill building platform to look out, which is a great idea. Oh, yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that before. Instead they were standing on like an 8-foot RV. Probably couldn't see anything. Well, yeah, a whole windmill right there where they can climb up and look around. Yeah. Maybe it's harder to jump down. I don't know. Well, it would be. I mean, it's first of all, it's hard to climb. Like, there's not a ladder there. Shane had to sort of climb it. No, they have a service ladder, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't think they build them with a ladder like they do high big towers for radio communications and stuff like that. It's just a windmill, right? So maybe they have if they have a problem with it, they look at the big ladder on the barn, or maybe they'll call the guy on the street with the trade picker. The windmill repairman. Yeah, of course. Or somebody around the corner has a scissor lift. Everybody needs to look at. Go get yourself a scissor lift straight up and down. You know what the problem with those are? They sway a lot up there. I've been on them before, like 30 feet up, and it's rocking back and forth. It's scared to grab them. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? It falls over, or you fall out. Right. Yeah, exactly. So when it falls over, you just land on it. Right, you don't fall far from it. Yeah, exactly. It falls over, die close by, anyways. Right. So what happens? Lori goes to talk to Shane. She tells him she doesn't know whose baby it is, and she regrets putting Shane in red odds. She talks about escaping land with Shane and how she never thanked him for that. Now, I have just the very last bit of their conversation. I could play the whole thing, but here's the last little bit.
Whatever happened between us, whatever the hell we thought it was, not just you, but I'm sorry, Shane. Please, I'm so sorry.
So I want to play that because I think the most interesting thing there is she's saying whatever we thought we had, and not just you, but Like she's admitting to being totally into it when they were doing it, I think.
I agree.
And this is the conversation that starts to push Shane right over the edge.
You think so?
Well, I mean, he's clearly close anyways because of everything that's going on. You know, but I think he was in some ways coming to terms with the fact that it's Rick's wife, that they're gonna have a baby and it'll be Rick's baby, and you know, he was getting used to that idea a little bit, and then she comes along and admits to being kind of into him, and you know, thanking him for rescuing her and sort of saying, you know, if it wasn't for you, I'd be dead, and he just rekindles that feeling. I think
I'm on board with what Dave said a couple episodes ago when they were driving back and saw that lone walker in the field, and Dave said that that's when Shane decided to kill Rick.
that's a good theory. I don't know, it might have given him the idea, but I think that lone walker was more about how Shane's feeling personally.
I don't know.
And giving him ideas. I don't know. I think Shane's getting used to it. He was getting used to things. He was gonna try to settle down a bit, but this just re-upped him. You know.
Well, either way, now he's sure.
You're absolutely right. Now he knows he's going to do something, or at least I don't think he knows what he's going to do yet, but he knows he's going to do something. Right. We'll get to. I have a theory on when exactly he figures out his plan, which we'll get to. So we come back from commercial, and Rick and Daryl are planning the rental trip on the porch of the barn. Right. Trip to take Randall. That's still on apparently. Shane drives up and tells Rick, "You know, Shane drives everywhere in this episode."
Well, yeah, he's like the last bit usage of his Sunday.
I guess so. He drove the lumber out to the windmill and then he's running it back.
Well, what would you do? Like, the windmill's not close.
I know, but I mean, if we're saving gas, I need a wheelbarrow or something.
He's got a hatchback. He's got some boards. This is what you do. You take it on the windmill, and then we're going to leave it there. Now you drive back to the farm. Facing away from the door.
I understand that, but I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to get all your wheelbarrow or something. 3 or 4 people to move that lumber out there. What was it, like 10 boards?
I don't think gas is a problem though. The amount of farms and roads around there with abandoned vehicles and not to mention abandoned gas stations.
Well, that's like saying that food's not a problem. I mean, it's not going to last forever, and the smart people are conserving right at the beginning.
Well, they have fuel people around back. You know, they went and got that water truck that Shane soaked his head in the pilot episode this season. Right. And they drove that back, and as the water canisters are being emptied, they're filling up with gasoline.
There's oil under their farm, and they're drilling it, I suppose. That's right. But Shane drives up and tells Rick about Carl's situation, so he's gotten back his dad now. Shane accuses Rick of being a bad father because Randall is more important to him than Carl.
How about I ride out with Daryl? Good for spending a little time together. Nah, I need you here. I'm like, I ain't right, huh? You say that? What'd you say? Yeah, your son. Yeah, get that back, Daryl, huh? Free in that prison. More important you to call.
Ouch. That hurts. I think it's really hurt a lot.
Well, yeah, I think you say somebody's kids, but I'm not paying enough attention to them.
Yeah, it's
true or not. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah, and is it true? You think it's true?
I don't think it is.
I don't know. Rick, the only scene we've had, well, one of the few between Rick and Carl is that scene where he's scolding him for being a jerk to Carol. It seems like no one is ever watching Carl, and Rick and Lori especially.
Right. Well, they trust Carl that he can handle things on his own.
That said, Carl did go to Shane on his dad.
That's true.
So, you know, that's interesting too. There might be some hard feelings on both sides there. You know what I mean? But we go to the scene of Andrea and Glenn trying to start the RV, and this was a nice scene. I like this scene a lot. Glenn fixes it, and they seem to bond over Dale's memory.
Well, they're the two people closest to Dale.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you know, Glenn gets upset because he feels like he let Dale down by not agreeing with him. But I think they both kind of realize in the scene that Dale sort of taught them a lot. You know, he was part of the group even though they didn't realize that before she died.
Yep. I'm gonna fix the RV anyway.
Yeah, exactly. She has a screwdriver, which was a callback to her screwdriver kill, and he needs a flathead, which I mentioned before. So I like the scene. It was a momentary break from the sort of depressing nature of everything else, and it kind of felt good, I thought. Now, Rick walks off to find Carl, who's in the hayloft. He gives him his gun back and tells him there's no more kid stuff. Right, no more kid stuff. He tells Carl that everybody's going to die, including himself and his mom.
The opening shot of the scene was really cool.
Yeah,
so the silhouettes of them looking at the loft door there. That was really, really nice.
It was composed really nicely. I enjoyed it too. But I think there's been more of that kind of cinematography type care taken in the last couple episodes. Have you noticed that?
In this episode particularly, like especially later on in the episode, we'll get to that. But I thought the cinematography in this episode was really, really well done.
I agree. I just think the last one that Nick Farrow directed as well. I think he did a really nice job. So I don't know if they changed, you know, director of photography or something like that. But whoever's doing it is doing a fine job, I think. But Rick tells his son that basically it's no more kid stuff and that it's time for him to grow up a little bit. We go to a commercial and come back to Randall blindfolded and struggling in the barn again. Shane comes in and sits downstairs on him for a while. Yep. And he points a gun at Randall and then looks at his bloody wrists before leaving.
Yep. Trying to figure out what to do with this guy.
He is, and Shane's obviously all twitchy and his mouth is hanging open and he just doesn't look very good. You know, not to mention the wounds on his face from his fight with Rick. But to me, this is the moment that he just snaps and he thinks, I know what I'm gonna do.
I think so.
I think there was even sort of a visual cue to that in the editing.
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I agree that this is a pivotal scene. I don't think it's the scene where he decided to kill Rick. I think it's the scene where he decided how and what the plan was. I think he was always planning to try and kill Rick and take over his position as leader and as husband of Lori and father Carl. But I think this is how it's like he's trying to shoot this guy and have it out with Rick, or then he comes up with a plan.
Well, see, I'm on the other side. I think he comes up with a plan and realizes this is the perfect way to do it. He's like, you know, I think he had all these thoughts probably swimming around in his brain, like, should I kill him? Should I not? If I kill him, I'm gonna do it. I can't just walk up and shoot him. I gotta make everyone believe something else. And I think Randall was the key to all of this. So when he was sitting there, there was this sort of like hard jump cut of Shane's head, right? And I think that was kind of indicates this is the moment where he lost his mind. And he's like, I'm gonna kill my best friend or my former partner, and I know how to do it now.
I don't know what lost his mind either, because it seemed like a pretty intricate plan for someone who's lost his mind. Someone who's lost his mind walks up to you and puts a shovel through your face. All right, without any regard to right or wrong. You know, coming up with a clean plan in order to kill someone, make it look like it was someone else, and take care of the thing you wanted to take care of in the first place is pretty intricate for someone who's lost his mind.
Okay, that's true. Lost his mind is the right phrase, but I don't know. I still think this is the moment that he goes over the edge and decides what he's gonna do ultimately.
Right. I think this is where maybe he has regained his mentality. Like before, he's you know, he's been a big blur of anger and frustration, and this is the first time that he actually has a concrete plan. He knows what he's going to do, and I think at this point he becomes calm and collected, and he goes now it's time for execution, not for trying to figure out what to do.
I don't know if calm and collected is the right term, but you're right. This is where he gets his focus. Right. This is where he decides. This is where he's gonna stop thinking about things and start doing things. Right. So an interesting scene nonetheless. But okay, so everyone else, Daryl and Rick are ready to take Randall out. They send Tiago over to get Randall for the trip. He goes over to the barn, opens the lock, opens the door, unlocks the lock, and finds Randall gone.
Did you hear what he said here?
I sure did, but I already knew what he said there because this was in the teaser for last week. Right. But his line, you know the line?
Well, the line was governor called, you got your reprieve.
He says governor called, you're off the hook.
Yeah.
Which is such a good line because you know it's very real life. You know, the governor is the one who grants you a pardon, I guess. And of course we all know that there's a character called the governor coming up in season 3, and of course in the comic book as well. Great line. Now, does this more or less mean that the governor will be introduced as part of Randall's clan of people?
Well, that's a good question. And that occurred to me at this point was is this? No, I don't think it is the governor. This is a roving group, right?
Right. But I think they've been in the area for a little while.
But I don't, you know, even if half of what Randall said is true about the roving group, about the size of the group, about the composition of the group, that's not really government material. Government material is somebody who's in charge of a large, stable, and I put that in air quotes, community where you know he has a town like Woodbury.
Yeah, he does. I think they're probably mixing it up a little bit. The TV show, they're not going to go that specific group. Right. I'd be willing to bet that the governor will be a member of Randall's people, and it's not Randall obviously because now Randall is.
Well, maybe Randall's still the leader. He's not the governor. Maybe he was the governor president.
Maybe he was the leader, and you know now that he's dead, who is this the leader? The leader. You know, maybe now that he's dead, someone else is going to step up in that group, right? Because he was kind of second in command sort of thing. And now he's the governor, Dave Morrissey.
I don't think the governor should be part of this group. I think this group is going to be an issue, and I think that our band heroes are going to run from this group and think that they got away and then run into the governor.
And run into the governor. I don't know. I'm going to call part of the group. You're going to call him part of the group. All right, we'll see how it shakes out. I just don't. I wonder if we're going to introduce the governor in the finale next week. No, we won't see that. Oh yeah, you're right. Of course, he can't be in that. Right. All right, I'll try to get back on track here. So we go to Shane taking Randall through the woods. He stopped and asks Randall to take him to his people because he's done with this group. Right. Shane asks him that, and this is weird. They start walking, and Randall seems to calm down a bit, and then he walks behind a tree, and Shane snaps his neck.
We hear hunting noise.
Yeah, he kills him off camera. Yes. Interesting choice, do you think?
I wasn't entirely sure he was dead. I thought he might have been unconscious. Yep. I thought he might have been, you know, just basically trapped for something or somewhere, or you know, maybe unconscious. So he wake up in a little while, and they would have a manhunt for him. And you know, once we get to it, Shane got cold cocked. That would be a good story for them to realize that Randall was a threat, was a danger, and they would kill him.
Yep, that's what the plan. That's a pretty good plan. But I think that cracking noise was meant to indicate that he snapped his neck.
Well, yeah, you know, I kind of I took a step back from general TV and movie noises to hope that he was still alive, because that noise, when shown on camera, means instant death by somebody who knows kung fu and turns somebody's neck really quick.
Is that even possible in real life?
Probably. I think you have to do a lot more than what they show on TV.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of like a chicken kind of thing where you take it and you grab the chicken and you twist it around so that the chicken's body spins and eventually just pop the neck out. I don't think it's that dramatic. I think it's a lot more dramatic and a lot more is involved in just kind of putting a hand on each side of a person's face and giving them a massage.
A massage of death, right? So before we leave Shane, he runs face first into a tree to break his nose.
Yeah.
It was a good scene, but I couldn't help but chuckle a little bit when I saw him do that. He runs into the tree and just kind of slumps over. Oh,
that hurt.
Yeah, exactly what you expect. So everybody else is looking for Randall at this point. Shane comes out of the bush with a young for Rick with the story of Randall punching him and taking his gun.
After hiding under some leaves.
Is that what he did there? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he tucked the gun under some leaves and kind of buried him like very nuts.
And is he gonna get it later? Is that the idea?
Well, I assume so. He didn't just toss it into the woods. Like, he hit it. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to remember where that spot is. You're going to get that gun for a week.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? If everything had gone as planned and then he went back and retrieved that gun later, we have another gun problem where you show up with a gun that you think you should have lost.
Right.
Like the Otis problem.
Hey, where did you get that? Shane just finds guns. Maybe he's like a gun vendor or something.
He has a gun divining rod. Yeah, retaining rod. No, that's not right.
Retainer?
Yeah.
A gun retainer.
Yep. So he comes out of the bush, and Rick, Shane, Daryl, and Glenn go in back into the forest to look for Randall, and they separate into Rick and Shane and Daryl and Glenn. Right. So we go to commercial, and when we come back, we have Carl looking out from the upper floor of the farm into the night with binoculars, looking all weird and creepy like usual. Carl. Yep. We see you guys searching the forest. Now I'm gonna try and split it into the two parties here instead of going back and forth like we did in the episode. Right. So we have Daryl and Glenn, and they're just looking around, and they start to realize something by some of the evidence they find.
I think Daryl's awesome.
Daryl is awesome. You know what? Glenn seems awesome too. Yeah, especially in a second. But they start to realize that Shane lied. They find two tracks, and they notice they're walking in tandem, not sort of front to back like you would with a prisoner. Right.
They're holding hands.
Yeah, that's right. They're holding hands. Something's not right. They see signs of a scuffle, and then they find blood on the tree where he ran face first into it. Yep. Then they find blindfold. Yep. And they get attacked by Randall zombie. Right. Randall zombie. And after Glenn manages to chop him in the head and kill him, they sort of search and find any bites on him. And realize what's going on here. He wasn't bitten. His neck was broken. Why is he a zombie? Yep. And Glenn asked that very question of sort of to the forest, but it was really to the audience.
It was very, very interesting.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. So
confused a lot of people too. I've heard reports all day today about people going, what the hell is going on there?
I know. The thing is, your average viewer doesn't think about this 24 hours a day like we do.
Well, right, and the average viewer hasn't read all the comic books either.
It's true.
And hasn't read Rise of the Other.
Yeah, that's true.
So having all that kind of background, you're going, oh, yeah, well, of course.
But we'll talk about that more in a second. Rick and Shane are walking around, and as they're going, Rick starts to realize that Shane's intentions aren't exactly good. He questions him about losing his gun, and Shane has a BS answer about being his favorite piece, and he's going to wish Randall's going to wish he was dead if they find him.
So that from Firefly?
No.
Adam Baldwin?
Yeah.
Adam Baldwin? Yeah, he was trying to trade his very favorite gun, Charlene, for, was it what's his name, wife?
Yeah, I don't remember. I know what you're talking about.
Charlene, very favorite gun.
Well, it's Shane's favorite gun, or pieces, he says. But Shane says, keep going. And we got an email from Craig in Georgia that I'm going to read right now because he had an interesting take on the scene. Okay. He writes, when Rick and Shane were walking through the woods and stopped for a brief conversation, listen to the way it is worded. Instead of Rick saying, you sure he went this way? He states, are you sure this way is right? I think Rick knew what was going down and was asking Shane, in other words, are you sure you want to go through with this? Right. Then listen to Shane's answer. Let's go. Like talking to a dead man walking. I thought this was an interesting way of using words in a tense moment. Mm-hmm. So this is a really great point. Are you sure this way is right? It's a strange way to phrase that question.
Well, that one as well.
Yeah. How do you like interesting word using that structure? But so thank you, Craig, from Georgia. We go to commercial and we come back. Rick and Shane come to a clearing in the woods. Rick knows what Shane's thinking at this point and asks him, so this is where you plan to do it. Rick accuses Shane of being a murderer. Shane intends to tell everybody that Randall shot Rick, and Shane then killed Randall in the fence. And Shane then raises his gun at Rick. It's pretty intense. So Rick won't raise his gun back, but Shane's asking him to, which is kind of funny. It is. But he knows he doesn't want to. He's obviously, is he having second thoughts, or is he just wanting to make sure he's doing the right thing?
I'm not
or
sure.
trying to justify what he's doing because Rick threatened him back.
Or he's trying to, I'm not sure exactly what, it was confusing to say the least. I didn't know exactly what was going on. It's like, well, if you want to raise, if Shane wants Rick to raise the gun in order to, it's basically a suicide by cop kind of deal, where, he wants to justify. Who's he want to justify? Does he need to justify to himself? I don't think that he necessarily needs that. Does he want to justify to the group? Because he wants, to everybody to think that Rick was, shooting back for some reason?
Yeah, threatening him equally.
But I'm thinking, everybody knows, there's no forensic team in the world that's going to come and analyze this crime scene to know that Rick was actually holding the gun up at the time he was shot. I mean, throw it on the ground, fine, blow a big hole in his head, and then put the gun next to his body.
I think it was Shane trying to justify to himself.
You're probably right, because that's the only explanation I can think of, because everything else doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Not really. No, Shane just didn't. Even though he decided to do this, he doesn't consider himself a cold-blooded murderer, I suppose. And
Well,
at least if the person he's trying to shoot is, if there's a reason, he's trying to give himself a reason to kill him. Like in the moment, he's got his bigger reasons about Lori and Carl and all that. But in the moment, he needs that motivation to do it, I think. Right. But Rick won't raise his gun. He unholsters it very slowly, and he's holding it backwards. Yep. Is there a term for that? I was wondering while watching it, for holding a gun that way when you're handing it to somebody else, like handle first or
I don't know
something?
what it is.
If anyone knows there's a firearms term for that way of holding a gun, let us know. But that's what he's doing, and he's very slowly approaching Shane to hand him the gun and saying, I'm not gonna use this. And as he's walking up to him, he's telling Shane that they can still make this right, that they'll return to the farm together like nothing happened. It's okay, we can recover from this, he's saying. Yep. But when he gets close enough, Shane looks down for a split second to take Rick's gun, and so Rick moves fast and stabs him in the chest. Yep. He gets the knife from his belt and stabs him in the chest.
The Gerber knife.
Yeah, the Gerber knife. Good for a lot of different things.
He can stab people.
That's right. So they go down onto the ground together, and Shane dies. Yep. We have two major character deaths in 2 episodes.
That was quite the thing.
That was quite the thing. Rick is kind of sobbing, yelling, "Why did you make me do this?" And we fade to black. So Rick is kind of blaming Shane for all this. He's saying, like, "This is all your fault. Why did you do this?" Yeah, I know it is, but like, it's, I guess there's no other real way for Rick to feel. Like, it didn't have to be this way.
No, I sympathize with his frustration and his anger and his disappointment in his partner Shane for forcing his hand in order to, still have confidence. He's horrible.
Forcing his hand, literally. Yeah. So we fade to black and the episode's over. I'm just kidding.
Right. My memory is different than that.
Yeah, a guy at work today didn't see that final scene because he turned it off and went to black. I was like,
Oh,
boy,
that's
you need to watch
It's like
it.
not watching the end of Old Yeller.
Yeah, or the end of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Right? So we come back from black with some fast flash cuts of what's happening inside Shane's brain.
Yeah, that was very that was different.
It was. So I haven't gone back. I haven't had a chance to go back and look at those in detail, like pause them and look exactly what we see here. But we see a lot of shots of zombies, gruesome zombies, and a lot of gore, all up close, a lot of sound. And is this a mythology thing, or was this just sort of them giving us an idea of something's happening in the brainstem and it's reawakening?
I think, well, I'm not an mythology thing, but I think there was something happening in the brainstem, kind of giving us the feel of the need, the hunger that the zombies have when they come back. I think that it very accurately, in my mind, portrayed that kind of need to feed on human flesh.
And, well, and the rage. You know, if you can assume these zombies are raging, which, you know, there's some people argue there's a big difference in zombie type movies where there's a rage virus where they're not really dead, they're just really, really mad all the time, and then there's the actual zombies that are dead and totally mindless, they're just eating. It kind of seems like a little bit of both.
Kind of, yeah.
So,
But what do you mean by mythology?
well, you know, there are certain things, there are certain rules to any sci-fi universe or zombie universe.
Good ones, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the thing where you don't have to be bitten and everybody comes back, which was a strong theme in this episode. Yep. But were they trying to show us the experience of reawakening as a zombie? And I think it's part of the mythology of the show, is it not? You know, it's part of it. One of the they're showing us what it's like to be a zombie. At least those first few seconds.
Well, I agree with that. And they are showing us that. They're showing us that there is an insatiable hunger and an anger and a need to bite and to tear and to rip and to beat nasty zombies.
And it's completely uncontrollable.
Yes.
There's nothing else you can do about it. But I thought it was interesting. I didn't ever think we a long time ago we talked about having a zombie cam, didn't we? Or shamble cam?
No, there was a movie that had a shamble cam. It was a low budget kind of a mockumentary where there were zombies and they strapped a camera to one of the zombies.
I thought we talked about it on this podcast.
Rainbow cam.
I know that was last week. I'm talking about 2 years ago or something. But
No, I
anyway,
think it was a movie that was a thing. They called it a movie, a shamble cam.
okay, well, this is I think probably the closest we're going to get as a zombie perspective on the show.
I think so. This was definitely a zombie perspective.
I don't think I want any more than this either, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, otherwise we're going to get into like Terminator kind of thing where you have, red, just everything's through a red filter and all they see is, a combination of Terminator and Predator. I don't need that.
No, I don't need that at all. And you know, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if we never get this again. They just did this because Shane was such an important character. And we knew him as Sully for so long. You know, when Amy died, we didn't know her that well. Dale never became a zombie. Sophia, they all have it off screen, and now Shane, they all have it on screen. We knew him well. They're like, you know, this is gonna be your last survival Shane's brain, right?
Shane's brain.
Shane's brain. So that was cool. Carl walks up, can't believe what he's seeing, and raises his gun towards his father.
Yeah.
Interesting. Behind Rick, zombie Shane gets up, and Rick doesn't see him because he's looking at Carl, but Carl takes a shot and shoots Shane in the head.
Good shot, Carl.
Very good shot.
You know,
And
if it was me and I was pointing a gun at something and my father was between me and that something, I would say something like look out or duck or move out of the way or there's a zombie behind you or
hit the deck.
something. You know, I would just take the shot.
I think Carl was pointing the gun at his dad initially.
I think so too. There's Shane still on the ground.
Shane's still on the ground, and we can't assume that Carl saw him standing up and the audience didn't. But that could have been what happened. But since we didn't see that, we have to assume that Carl's pointing the gun at his dad first. Then the zombie stood up and he decided to take that shot instead. Or he shot his dad and just got lucky.
No, I don't think that was. I think my impression of what was going through Carl's head was, holy crap, you killed Shane. What is wrong with you? You know, stay away from me. You are a danger. I don't care if you're my dad or not. But then when Shane got off the zombie, he's like, oh, that's what happened. Okay, well, now I'm gonna shoot Shane.
He thinks so. Carl decides that Shane was already a zombie and Rick was defending himself.
Yeah, something like that. Or his dad was killing the zombie Shane or trying to at least. Yeah. And so his dad did say, Rick did say, it's not what it looks like, kind of thing. And so I think there was initially he was pointing at Rick because he thought that he just murdered Shane. When and halfway through he realized that Shane's a zombie. So that's not good. So I'm not gonna screw this up again. I'm gonna take a shot this time.
Yeah, this time I'm gonna kill him. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm on board with that. Interesting that you point down his dad no matter what though.
Yeah.
So he takes a shot and it's loud and suddenly the woods are filled with zombies.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. I guess they're attracted to that noise. But I didn't understand this part. They've been combing the woods for all night.
Yeah.
No zombies inside except Randall.
Well,
and suddenly they're everywhere.
And it's a herd, right? So it's not a small group. And herds wander around at whatever noise and stuff. So maybe they were checking out. They were always coming. They were always coming, and then now they just heard the shot. They were just milling up off screen.
Well, I had this problem, and Lars from Baltimore also wrote in and said at the very end of last night's episode, where did all those zombies in the woods come from? Rick, Shane, Daryl, and Glenn were combing the woods all night long, and it was silent enough for Monday and Daryl to hear zombie Randall snap its way. Right. And then suddenly there was zombies everywhere.
Well, you're not taking into account that there's a lich controlling everything. And now Shane has built a tower for the lich to have complete dominion over the whole landscape. He scrambled up the tower and go, okay, all you guys go over there, and I'll call in the dinosaurs, and we'll have those guys show up.
And the lich can summon the zombies. You can not conjure them.
Well,
Is that the way this works?
well, he can conjure them. He can point at people and say you're a zombie now.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
All
The
right.
lich is making the zombies.
Okay, I can see that. And Shane built the tower, so everything's fitting. Everything's perfect. And that's the end of the episode. The camera pans up from Shane and Carl, and we see this herd of zombies approaching, and there we are.
We had some really good shots of the field and Shane and Rick and Moon in their conversation and the slight tilt of the camera, so everything was kind of off angle. I thought it was really amazing. I thought it was very indicative of the comic as well. The comic had a lot of good shots like this. Every once in a while you flip the page and you get a double pager. That one scene was over 2 pages. It was just awesome. I think this episode kind of captured that very, very well.
That's true. When Rick and Shane are in that field with the moon behind them, and you see the whole thing, they're standing across from each other. That does kind of remind you of a 2-page spread in the comic.
Yeah, absolutely, it was great.
That was really well done. I did have some problems with this episode though, even though I liked it. First off, I'm not sure I believe entirely that Rick would just give Carl back his gun like that in the hayloft. You know, I know Carl needs to have that gun for obvious reasons, but after all the discussion before of you know him whether he should or shouldn't have a gun, and then he steals one and he goes off wandering in the woods, wouldn't a father be like, maybe you're not ready for this? Instead of, nah, here you go, you gotta be a man now.
I don't think you have the luxury to say you're not ready for this in this situation. I think it's a matter of if you feel you got to steal one in order to protect yourself and the group, maybe you should have one.
I don't know. I can see that side, but I just think having him immediately go back and say, no, you're gonna fine, don't worry. Next time you're in the woods, make sure you kill it.
Somebody talk to Daryl about this. It's his gun. When he's going to show Carl and say, it's my gun. It's like, we need to. That's my gun. I lost it.
That's the other thing.
My dad gave it to me, but you stole it.
Well, there's a problem there for sure. Yeah. I'm just not so sure. It was too easy for Carl to say, I'm never touching a gun again, and his dad convinced him, no, you need this, especially after you stole it and you've been acting like a little shit.
At the very least, I think you should have a conversation that he had in the comic book when he gave Carl the gun. You need this. You put it in the holster. If you ever take it out when you don't absolutely need to, I'll take it away from you, and that'll be it.
That's true. Well, they kind of already had that. Not so many words, but back when they were talking about gun training, that kind of idea was presented.
Well, gun training is one thing. You're giving somebody a firearm to practice with, and at the end of the training, you take it away. When you're giving somebody, giving a 12-year-old a firearm, you're going to put some rules on that sucker. You're going to say, you keep that in the holster. If you ever take it out, you know, I take it away from you. I'm just thinking of more severe things like when you're on firing line in basic training, and they point to the guy in the tower and say, that guy has a rifle. If you ever point your firearm anywhere but downrange, he's allowed to shoot you. You know, that soldiers you up pretty damn quick. You're damn sure that you're going to control the direction of that firearm from that point forward.
Well, yeah, because he's going to take you out if you do anything.
He probably wouldn't, but still, put the fear of God.
Oh, yeah, sure. The fear of God works.
And we were 17. I was 17 at the time.
Ages and ages ago.
Ages and ages ago, and you had me a semi-automatic firearm to a 17-year-old. That's crazy. You need somebody on a tower pointing a firearm at you to make sure that you're still in control.
Yeah, those 17-year-olds need to know that.
I know some 17-year-olds. I'm not sure I want a semi-automatic rifle in their hands.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's probably enough 17-year-olds wandering around the city with pistols and stuff like that. Another problem I had, now this has caused some issue I think online in general, is that how did they walk so far through the forest and end up so close to the farm? Was this part of Shane's plan to sort of go around in circles? And if so, did Rich not notice this? Like, why didn't he say, how come we're walking around in circles here? They did talk about going this way, but they ended up right back to clearing outside the farm, close enough for, I assume, Carl to see them through those binoculars in pitch darkness, and then show up, well, moonlight, I guess, but and then get there quick enough, sneak out of the farm somehow, and get there fast enough. So did that strike you as weird?
It did strike me as a little weird because I have a number of problems with this as well. One is that if somebody is going to escape your custody and try and run away, he's going to run directly away, not sort of kind of loop around, not kind of go over this way. He's going to run directly away, so they should have been looking in direct lines away from the farm.
Except it's easy to get turned around in the forest at night.
Well, apparently Randall knows his way around here, right? He knows the area. He knows where the farm is in relation to other things, so he's going to go, I'm going to be line straight east, you get to the highway, and get the highway and over to there, and I'm going to get back to my people where I can control them because I'm in charge of all these people because I'm then lost.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. Well, that was one of my problems. They just sort of ended up right back where they started, and nobody addressed that.
Yeah, well, I think that may be why, I don't know why Shane did, but maybe why Rick was cluing into what was going on. So why are we going to this field?
That's true, and to be fair, maybe Rick wouldn't have just piped up and said we're walking around in circles. You know, he didn't let on, you know, explicitly that he knew Shane's plan until they got there and said, this is where you're going to do it.
Well, okay, so
if he's playing along to that point, maybe that's why he didn't say
if we assume Rick is playing along and for going in circles for whatever reason, all we have to do is figure out why Shane was such an idiot he thought he could get away with walking around in circles and why he would want to.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, just wait till it's darker or something. Like, I don't know. Hopefully they were attacked by wolves and he didn't have to kill them. You know, I don't know. Or maybe he was walking around hoping that zombie Randall would sneak up and attack.
Shane didn't know about zombie Randall.
You're right, Shane didn't know what zombie Randall.
He thought just Randall was dead.
Yeah.
He was snapping neck Randall.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but Shane's the one who pointed out to those police officers at the water treatment public works plant that they weren't bitten. So maybe he was starting to figure that out too.
Well, I mean, we all thought the scratches were enough.
That's true.
And the internet at large, when I read everything, that the scratches are enough. Everybody was basically scratched at one point. Oh my God,
Or at the very least had the guts on them, and, soaked in or
so it doesn't matter. We haven't had anybody really. Shane turned really quickly, didn't he?
very quickly. And Randall would have turned quickly too. But Jenner said anywhere from 5 minutes to like a day.
But didn't the producers of the show come out and say it had to do with the age and health of the person who died? And we assumed that Amy, because she was young and healthy, took all night to turn.
The older person would take even longer.
I was thinking the other way around. A healthy person would take a long time to turn, whereas an older sick person would turn almost immediately.
Because they're old and sick. So Shane would have been old and sick.
No, he was in great shape.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a rule there that's established, right?
So I guess it depends on. Maybe he caught himself with that zombie blade. He was infected right good. Maybe that had to do with it too. You know, the zombie microbes in your bloodstream.
Yeah, except I think it's pretty clear now that the rule is everyone turns, whether you're infected or not. Maybe just getting in you speed the process a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You get a little bit from the groundwater, but if you cut yourself after stabbing a zombie in the head, you're gonna get a little more of the what do you call it? I don't know what it's called, the midichlorians.
I was gonna say that, but that's Amy was bitten. You think that would be the best way to get in?
But she had a couple of days where that stuff gets in your bloodstream, whereas Amy was bitten, and once she got bitten, at that point it gets your bloodstream. Then she died, and very few things go through your bloodstream and you're dead.
That's true. Things slow down an awful lot. Yeah, more stuff. I'm gonna go with the longer this goes on, the longer you survive in the zombie apocalypse, the quicker you turn.
All right, let's go with
So if Amy had only been living in this for a few days and it had only been in her for from the bite, let's say, so very quickly. That's why it took 12 hours to get through. If Shane got it in 6 weeks ago, well, it's in his system. It's pumping through his heart all the time. I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
There you go.
I know the variation on that, in that being around zombies, you get more and more of whatever makes you a zombie in your blood system at any given time, which is sort of like what you're saying.
And naturally, it just depends on whether the lich targets you or not.
Well, yeah, if you have to let the lich know who you are, you're screwed right from the get-go.
There you go.
The secret is to not let the lich know where or who you are.
I have one more problem with Shane's plan, and that is that it felt convenient, and this isn't really a problem with his plan, maybe, but it's a problem with his plan versus how it was written. It felt convenient to me that all four of them walked into the forest, and then they conveniently split up into those two groups, exactly who Shane wanted to be with. What was he going to do?
Was split up
with Ricks,
and he set the groups.
Now, maybe Shane just knows this about his friend. Like, maybe he's like, we're all doing everything together, so I'm going to take that gamble. The problem was, he couldn't have planned for all four of them going to the forest together. And what was he going to do if they decided to all force together and keep looking for Randall?
That was wrong.
He'd leave into the clearing, and then be 3 against 1, and he got no hope of pulling off.
Well, you got lucky. You have to be in order to be a success. You have to be willing to be lucky.
Yeah, you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. I don't know.
He's willing to be lucky.
Shane maybe has a bit of a Han Solo complex, and he's just naturally a lucky guy.
Well, yeah.
That's how you get to be someone.
Except for the stabbing at the end there.
Everyone has to die at some point.
That's true.
So
we all would have.
there you go. Other than all that complaining, I think this was a really solid episode. I really enjoyed it. All right, and with that, before we move on to Holy Crap, Did You See That, we got to take a brief minute to thank our sponsor, which is Audible this week. For you listeners of The Talking Dead, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service.
You know what I'm recommending this week?
No, tell me.
I'm going to do something very rarely done in the Audible sphere.
Highly unusual.
I'm going to go ahead and recommend the same book I recommended last week.
How can you get away with that?
Because since last week I purchased this stand and I started listening to it and I got through the first 5 hours so far and I'm loving it. I think it's great.
We had 1 or 2 listeners write in and say how good it is. Not necessarily the audiobook, just the book in general.
The book in general is good. Like I've gone through phases of Stephen King. Stuff I didn't like and stuff I did like, stuff I really liked. And I think now this one was earlier stuff. This was written in like 1979, 78, it was the late 70s and early 80s. And a lot of his older stuff I couldn't really get on board with. But I think now that I'm a little older, I think I'm more inclined to like his style. Whereas when I was younger, all I wanted was plot. I didn't care about the characters. Like, shut up, okay, but then plot. Tell me what's going on. But now a lot of those books are character studies. This is a very long book and a very good book, and I'm very much enjoying it. And Robert Gardner, the reader of the book, is fantastic. He's doing a great job, even in the swearing, because there is some very colorful swearing in this book. He's doing a fantastic job of bringing that to life. It's a great listen. It really is.
That is awesome. Jason has matured as a reader, and if you want to do the same, you can download your free audiobook today at audibletrial.com/talkingdead. That is audibletrial.com/talkingdead for your free audiobook.
Holy crap, did you see that?
All right, it's time for Holy Crap, Did You See That? And from here on, we're going to give Jason a little bit more to do than usual. We're going to alternate reading this and our listener feedback because I think he's expanded as a reader. He's going to expand as a
I've learned to read since last week. Now, when you say alternate, we're not alternate words, is that right?
No, that would probably take
I've tried doing that in the past, and it's quite difficult to do.
Okay, well, let's not try that. Please,
I just want to be clear and make sure that I understand what's going on.
All right, we've got lots of feedback from people. This is Holy Crap, Did You See That? And I'll go first. This comes from Jonathan on the internet, and his one from Judge, Jury, and Executioner is when Carl started playing, in quotes, with the water who was stuck. It reminded me of how a child would play with a bug, like a spider, and learn to not be afraid of it. Pretty cool moment for Carl, if you ask me.
I got the impression too. I agree with that. I kind of flocked in bubbles to the surface, but now you mentioned that kind of did occur to me.
I like that. Yeah, he's like Jonathan says, he's kind of learning to not be afraid of it, which is good and bad. You want to stay calm if you're around a zombie and do what you need to do, but there also has to be spirit.
Yeah, well, you don't walk up to it.
Like Carl did.
Yeah, you shoot it from as far away as you can, or you get something long and pointy like either a scythe or a pitchfork or something. Having a what we call a pike would be nice. Start making pikes. I think pikes.
You know what I've never seen?
Or halberd.
A zombie kill with a caber.
A caber?
Can you imagine?
Caber?
Yeah, can you imagine tossing a caber and hitting a zombie and switching its head?
I'm not entirely sure the caber has meant as a weapon.
I know it's not a weapon,
but it's not. The whole point of a caber is to see how if you can get this thing over and how straight it can be, whether it falls to the side and things. So it's if a perfect score is for it to have it to fall correctly. It's not really an aimable weapon.
I think you can do it in a pinch. Anything can be a weapon in a pinch.
You know what would be a really good pinch? A really good weapon in a pinch? An avalanche. If they could just engineer an avalanche or a mudslide or a flood even.
Oh my god, the zombie's chasing us. Wait, there's a free flood. A flash flood.
We are lucky there.
There you go.
All right, we got an email from Mark from New Jersey on Judge, Jury, Executioner, and his whole comment was the one hero zombie in this episode was the first featured Walking Dead zombie that appeared shirtless.
So that's
or topless.
You're right.
Either way.
Shirtless is more specific when it comes to zombies. In theory, you can have a zombie with no torso.
Well, topless is also confusing. You can also think topless meant no hat.
Yeah, that's true. This is the first zombie with a hat. That's a good one. Phil in Kansas City from Better Angels says, my moment was after Shane's kill. We get to see what is going through his mind prior to Carl's bullet. I've not started to read comics. Is this something new? The answer is yes. This is new.
There you go.
It's new to the TV show and new to the comic because the comic has never gotten into far less than the show in terms of what caused these zombies and what's like with these zombies.
In fact, I went to the CDC and it's a form of meningitis. I'm like, holy crap, they really did show us a lot of information there. Just one sentence and it was like more information than we've ever gotten 6 years of comic.
You know, and they keep saying they're never going to get into this anymore. Yet then they do stuff like this where we get the Shane zombie brain cam and get a little more info. So who knows where they would have taken us?
That's true.
I don't know.
All right, from Chris from Georgia. My holy crap, did you see that moment? Is Carl shooting zombie Shane? I like it because it plays homage to the comic and shows that Carl's starting to grow up. I see the show is going to have to add more character cause Lori. What the hell is that? I can see the show is going to have to add more characters because Lori is next to go.
There you go.
All right.
He is prognosticating that Lori will be the next one to be killed. I don't think I'm on board. I have a feeling Lori is one of those characters that is reasonably safe. I don't know why I feel that way.
Yeah, I think she's safe too. I mean, the first part of this actually brings up a very interesting point that I'm glad came up because the fact that Carl shot Shane after he was a zombie, which is different than the comic book. And I'm going to spoil something that never going to happen in the show. Okay, it happened in the comic book, but it's never going to happen in the show. Is that in this final argument between Shane and Rick, it's Carl that shoots Shane and kills him.
Yeah, living Shane.
And so it didn't happen this way. And what we lose in this method of killing Shane is two things. One, we lose the moment of Carl making that decision to shoot Shane, killing a living person. And I think the show kind of checking out on that because of the whole kid violence thing. You can't have a kid shoot a living being.
I think you're right, but I'm not disappointed with how it went down in the show. I don't think it was a disappointment to see him shoot a zombie Shane instead of a living Shane.
I kind of see. I'm a little bit disappointed for a different reason, but I'm a little bit saddened that they went this way because they couldn't get away with that level of violence, which I kind of understand.
Yeah, they got away with a pretty solid level of violence.
They have. It's all been when you have a kid kill something, it can't just be a living being because he's angry at his dad. Right? That's out of murder by a 12-year-old. And that's kind of harsh to put on television. And I've been saying that for years now. That this moment, I'm not sure that they would actually do. Yeah. And so now we know we're not going to do it. The other thing we lose is that Shane is now dead as a zombie. And in the comic book, and again, this is something in the comic book that never happened in the TV show, is that they don't know that zombies can come back from just regularly killed people. So just somebody that just dies from a broken neck or a knife wound to the chest. They don't know at this point that they can come back as zombies. And they move on with their lives. They go on, and a little while later, once they realize this, Rick leaves, trudges all the way back to this spot, digs up Shane, and kills him.
Yeah, because they buried him because he didn't turn right away. And once they find out that he's probably a zombie buried under the ground, they dig him up and shoot him.
Right. So we lose that now too.
We do lose that. And it's a great scene, but it's all part and parcel to the reveal in the comic that they're all the Walking Dead more or less.
Right. And we're getting that reveal next week, I think. And I think this is also going to be the whole what Jenner whispered to Rick, the CDC.
It is. When we get to next week in The Walking Dead, I mean, we'll talk about more. It looks like we've got an intense action-packed episode next week, so you're gonna have to find at least a minute to settle things down and have Rick say, oh, by the way, this is what I know.
Well, no, we also, when we get to that, I'll save that for when we get into it.
Talk about it later. Chad from Wisconsin is next, and he writes, my moment from last night's episode would have to be Shane ramming himself full force into a tree and then bear hugging the tree.
Well, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to bring yourself to punch yourself in the face and break your nose. You don't think you can do that?
I don't think I can. I know I can.
I'm not sure it's humanly possible to do that.
I don't know. You see Fight Club?
Okay, let's go Fight Club. But I don't think it's humanly possible to punch yourself in the face and break your own nose. I mean, it's humanly possible. Could you bring yourself to do that? I'm not sure.
People kill themselves all the time.
Oh, okay.
Jim Morrison, his brother, committed suicide. He stabbed himself in the chest 27 times. What? 27 times stabbed himself.
Okay, I take that all back. And it's totally possible to punch yourself in the face hard enough.
It's not, you know, you can't have all your faculties with you because committing suicide with that amount of rage is not indicative of somebody who's completely sane.
That's true.
So, and Jim Morrison's father was the captain of the USS Enterprise.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's
just so you know.
Sarah from Regina, the city that rhymes with fun, and that's Sarah's words.
Is that their official slogan?
That's awesome. Come to Regina, the city that rhymes with fun.
Ooh, yeah, there's no way.
Sarah says, my first holy crap to see that moment has to do with Lori. She's so concerned with male-female gender division based on what work needs to be done, and yet watching your child, which really should be number one on her list, seems to be very hard for her to do. Seriously, there's one kid in this group, and no one notices that he's been gone for so long. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Where is that? What's that guy's name again?
Yeah, that little short, weird kid that keeps
Short human at the he's got a hat now. Where is he?
He's, I don't know,
Yeah, shot a little while ago.
Yeah, and he's up around now. I don't know where he is. Sarah has a second one I like as well. So when we read it, she said, you guys brought up the fact that when Dale's leaving the group discussion about what to do with Randall, you see that Daryl's wearing what appears to be a Hell's Angels biker jacket with wings on the back. I took that more as Daryl being Dale's angel of mercy, or just an angel in general.
Okay.
It's an interesting thought, you know. He was the one that stepped up and put Dale out of misery. He's the angel of mercy.
The heavy lifting.
He did everything. That is right. So last one, you want to do this?
Sure, it's Max from Connecticut, and he has a few comments on. Then he finishes with the whole crap to see that one.
That's right. Here we go.
Hey, this is Max from Connecticut. I just want to give my comments on Better Angels. First, I gotta say how upset and just disappointed I am that they killed Dale in the episode prior. It just felt like a big FU to the fans. When you kind of look back and think of The Walking Dead, you just think Dale and the RD, and it's just the imagery. He was a perfect cast onto that part. So, but going to Better Angels, I really think that they knocked it out of the park. Even though Anthony spoiled, the big moment, it was still a crazy amount of tension. And the way they portrayed Shane in the last final scene, just looking like a zombie, and acting like a zombie beforehand, with his mouth open and spit coming out. It's not just the scene while walking through the woods, but while he's talking to Lori, the shop look, and when he's in the barn with Randall, it was just unbelievable. I just I think Shane knocked it out of the park. So my whole crap to see that moment was just John Bernthal. The guy is, as much as I hate the character, I think he really did that Walking Dead a good service. All right, that's all for now. See ya.
So I saved that one for the end because I'm going to go ahead and agree with Max on this one. It was Bernthal's last episode, and I just can't, I think he did a fine job in the whole series in general. And I think just everything he did was spectacular.
I think so too. Fantastic job.
You hate him so much. Exactly. You hate him so much. You kind of love to hate him, and then there were moments where you're like, well, maybe he's okay. Maybe he really is doing the right thing here. Everyone else has got it wrong. He's the only one that can probably protect him, but it didn't work out for him. So holy crap, did you see John Bernthal all season? Yeah. You going?
I mentioned it in the recap. And I'm going to go with Andrea in the pick. Not pick. Pitch 4. So just the two shots of the pitch 4 that she had in the cold open.
There was another interesting shot in the cold open. Can you say that anymore? Sure can. There was another interesting shot when they were when the last zombie they killed, when Shane killed with the shovel, and he really cracked his head hard.
Oh, it's a little bit up there,
The inside of that zombie's skull didn't even look like there was brain there anymore. It looked like it was kind of hollow and full of cobwebs or something.
Nice.
Something like that, I suppose. But it seems like the brain in these creatures is all but dried up and shriveled away to nothing.
Oh, I watched a show a little while ago. It's called The Mummification of Alan on the Discovery Channel. It's exactly what it sounds like. It took this guy who knew he was dying of lung cancer, and he donated his body to science, but donated it specifically to try a mummification technique of the late whatever they mummified people in ancient Egypt. And so they were trying this mummification technique, and it was weird because they interviewed the guy, and they showed it was pretty graphic and it was very disturbing. But when they took X-rays and also an MRI after the initial mummification process, they showed that the brain kind of shrank and settled at the bottom of the skull. It was only like half the size of a normal brain. So maybe that's exactly what's happening. Is that the brain starts to rot, and just basically it leaves a big hollow gap inside the skull.
Gross. It fills up with cobwebs or something. I don't know. Horrible eggs.
Yeah, so go check out that documentary on mummification, called The Mummification of Alan. Very disturbing.
That sounds really creepy.
Oh, it was nasty too. They had to clean out the body cavity.
Okay, that's enough. I can watch zombies get destroyed on TV every week, but body cavity.
Oh, it's horrifying. I couldn't stop watching it. I had bad dreams.
All right. Well, let's move on to something else.
Listener feedback.
That was loud. Sure was. All right. So listener feedback. I'll go first this time. We got a call, so I want to do anything from Mike from Florida on the sexist nature of the show.
Hey, this is Mike from Florida. I want to talk about the sexist women roles. One thing no one's ever mentioned is that this is South. So I don't know if you guys have been to the school yet, you have to do that, but a lot of those roles still run strong. I have friends I went to school with now who still go to golf. So it might seem sexist to you guys in the coastal north, but down here those roles are still pretty strong. And me, specifically me, well, I grew up in the South. I'm from a Caribbean background, and even in that, my mom still cooks every day, and she has to be home to make my dad dinner, etc. So I understand. I agree with you guys that if the show never brought up it was an argument, that'd be one thing, but I think it's pretty big for the South. I don't know. Yeah.
So Mike from Florida is just saying that this is the way it is down here.
But that's a very good point.
And it's true. I mean, they are in the South, they're in Georgia, and they're trying to be a little authentic to the time and place.
I think I would like to go to Debbie Ball. Am I allowed to go to Debbie Ball?
I don't know. We don't have that sort of thing up here. I know. So I don't.
Debbie Ball is that only for women?
I don't know.
It sounds like fun though. Everybody dances. I would assume. I have no idea what it is, but I think it sounds like a good
I don't know who Nanny is, but I don't know. Okay, well that call raised more questions than answered for you.
I have to look it up.
Okay, very good. Before you do that though, why don't you read Phil from Kansas City?
All right, so I lost 1 second. There we go. Phil from Kansas City on Shane's bad line to Carl. I think you were wrong about the line that Shane says to Carl, stop trying to get yourself killed. As a bad line. I think it was about time that someone told him that. That is exactly what Carl has been doing. He seems to have no concern for himself, and he's going to get someone killed or already did.
I don't know. I still didn't like the line. It bothered me. I can see.
Are you outside the line in general or the delivery of the line?
The line in general. I'm fine with Bernthal's performance. I just think the line was silly.
Who's scruffy looking at?
Yeah, it was one of those exactly. I don't know. I can see Phil's point here that Carl has been a little bit self-destructive maybe. Wandering around with guns, stealing, going to poke zombies with rocket zombies. But I don't think anyone needs to tell him this. I mean, obviously no one's trying to. He's not trying to get himself killed. It's a little too literal.
Poke with a stick?
No, he threw rocks at it.
Poke with a stick.
And then he walked right up to the gun and didn't
Bullshit.
shoot.
Poke with a stick. That would have been very fitting.
I guess so. So I can't say I'm on board with the line, but I understand Phil's point. Patty from the internet writes in, according to what I've read, when stabbing a person, you need to twist the knife to prevent the body from getting hung up on the knife, possibly trapping the knife in the body and jerking it out of your hands. I read a lot of historical fiction, and it seems to be a common practice to teach soldiers when arming them with bayonets. They were taught stab, twist, and pull the bayonet. If your bayonet was sort of stuck in the body, the weight of the body would drag the weapon from your hands and leave you defenseless.
Well, there you go.
So twisting knives makes sense, I suppose. Twisting a knife within a zombie's skull, I still think would be pretty hard.
Well, I think I have to, upon reflection of the last couple of episodes and having a little bit of time to think about it, I think that the bodies of the zombies are rotting and that the skull is probably pretty mushy. And once you get the knife in there, there's not a lot of brain left.
And that's evidenced by that trouble zombie from this episode. There's no brain in there. Probably pressure inside the skull is a lot lower than it was, and the bone is still hard, but they've obviously been able to crush some skulls here with relative ease.
Right.
I don't think if I hit you in the head with a shovel, your skull would explode in pieces like it did when Shane hit.
Oh, I don't know. Shovel would be pretty devastating.
It would take a few hits. Come on, wouldn't it?
You know what you need to do? You need to hammer that shovel flat and then sharpen the edge, and that would be a formidable
It
weapon.
would, because you can smack the flat side, or you can cut with the sharp side.
Maybe it's crowbar.
No, I'm not crowbar. I don't know. Maybe it's too close to personal for them.
Crowbar's a perfect weapon for zombies. So you have to do it. You can whack people in the head with it. You can, there's a pointy end that you can jab people in the skull. And worst case scenario, you can always use it as a crowbar.
That's right. Worst case, you can pry open the door. Yeah, there you go.
Where's the crowbar?
I'm sure there's one around on the farm somewhere.
All right, they should go to the fire station. Get those tools that firefighters use to pry open doors and to do stuff. Those things are, I forget what they're called, but they're really handy tools for prime stuff.
Presumably don't.
Right, so we got John from the internet. In one of your shows, you mentioned how Dale jumped to the conclusion that Shane told us as a trick that Law & Order should use. We use to keep the story going. Example, the coffee's still hot and the catching bus out of town.
True. The example there I think is kind of logical.
Well, it's a healthy good faith, and that's a Law & Order criminal intent specifically that problem. I think Dale's suspicion comes from reason. One where he caught Shane lining up a shot on Rick when they were in the woods. When Shane sees that Dale saw him, he quickly lowers his weapon and tried to play off like he didn't know it was Rick, but you can see that Dale saw through it. I think from that point, Dale had an idea of what type of man Shane is.
Yeah, from season 1. I think that's a good point. I hadn't thought back to that scene when we were talking about last week, but Dale's been suspicious of Shane, or had been suspicious of Shane for a lot longer than we kind of remember. Right. He didn't trust that guy since season 1, since the beginning. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that we start putting two together, especially when he's constantly thinking about how bad a guy Shane is. Right. Tom from New York on the switchy sound effects. He writes, regarding your discussion on the sound effects used during the fist fight scenes, a pertinent segment on the quote on media radio show and podcast from this past weekend. Short answer, no, it's not realistic. Right. So I went and listened to on media, and I gotta say, say it was super interesting. They were analyzing the sound of punches in movies over the last 4 years. They included clips from Raging Bull and Rocky for older films and newer movies like Fighter and Drive. I'll also link to this. It's only about 15 minutes. It's really, really
I'm
good.
to that.
Yeah, it's great. You can hear the punches in like Rocky are just sort of a dull kind of thud, which they may not sound like real punches, but they aren't the big, things you hear in action movies today, right? Like where it's, I don't even know how to describe it.
Did they used to record the sound effect by beating up a side of beef?
Or slapping a fish against something like that.
Foley, awesome. I love Foley.
Hey, speaking of Foley, last night on AMC's Talking Dead, they played a segment on Foley the Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah?
And behind the scenes stuff of them recording the footsteps and the zombie noises, it was super interesting. So good on AMC's Talking Dead for doing that. It was very cool.
Did you ever watch the documentary on science fiction Star Wars?
I've seen parts of that where they like take a hammer and paint off like a metal lamppost or something that makes blaster
I
sound.
mentioned wire or something.
Yeah.
And then they did the blaster shots. It's part of the blaster shots. And the doors that speak open, they use sneakers on the basketball floor. Big part of that stuff.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
All right, so Dan from Massachusetts. I want to comment on Carl's accuracy with the pistol. He was teary-eyed and he shot inches from his own father's head. It's like he received his training from the Marines.
Well, he received his training from the very man he shot, or the zombie man he shot.
Take that, teacher man.
Yeah, I mean, this is true. He couldn't have said duck or something like you said earlier. Yeah. He decided to whiz right by his dad's ear and shoot Shane. And if you look, when Shane gets up, those three people seem to be standing in a perfect row. Right. So he would have had to shoot through his dad, hit Shane. Yeah. Get the zombie Shane left the side a little bit.
Yeah, I've been playing Mass Effect 3 over the weekend, and I had the same problem with you go as a squad during combat, and there's these two other people kind of running all over the place, and they constantly run in front of you, and they just stop. And it's like, okay, this is my line of fire, mister. And me being the guy that I am, and I'm playing a renegade in that story. So I just shoot between my legs. If they haven't get shot, so be it. You stop in front of me, knowing that this was my line of fire.
Stupid NPCs.
Stupid NPCs.
Leanne from the internet writes, I'm sure you've heard the news of the governor being cast. Shane has played the villain throughout the journey, and it would be too much for two villains to exist. So I expect they'll be hasty about introducing the governor once things have settled again. Shane and the governor could not coexist because Shane possesses Lori and how the governor and his men treat women. So that's her thoughts on bringing the governor in early in next season.
That's a very interesting point. So I think you're absolutely right, and I'm pretty sure they're going to kill Shane off.
You're right. He's bound to go soon. Yeah. Alrighty. And finally,
Finally, we got from the internet. Usage of various Nazi insignia is common among members of the Hells Angels, as well as other motorcycle clubs. But use of an SS patch on the club does not denote anything other than white supremacist sympathies and are used to shock citizens. The patch that a member of the Hells Angels would wear, signifying that they had committed homicide on behalf of the club, would be a small black patch with a white lettering reading "Filthy Few." In relation to Daryl's angel on the angel wing jacket, the only thing that the jacket and the Hells Angel colors have in common is that they are made out of leather.
Good for you.
So that's not a Hells Angels jacket, but it is a Hells Angels insignia.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear that the little lightning bolt SS patch really actually is for white supremacy and not anything else. Right. Interesting there. That you think he'd paint over that or scratch it off or something.
I think we get rid of that motorcycle altogether. I think it's completely impractical.
Or draw a red circle line through it or something.
Oh, Nazis.
Yeah.
Oh, that's here.
I think motorcycles are pretty impractical because it's loud and provides no protection.
And the handlebars, it's just kind of an uncomfortable ride. And it makes a statement. And if you're riding through a town and it's very, very loud, people are looking at you, and you're going, holy crap, I can't believe that this motorcycle guy dragged you here. I'm intimidated and afraid. That's not really relevant anymore.
You're absolutely right. You know what it is good for though, I bet? And I'm just wildly speculating here.
Holding guns?
Yeah, for riding with one hand and a shotgun mounted on the there's a supply in front of you. You can ride that shotgun right on the handlebars there and just fire them off as you ride around.
Wasn't that a machete?
Yeah, I think it was.
It was a minigun.
Kind of
Motorcycle.
I thought. So there you go. All right, we got one more segment before we wrap it up. Here we go.
Next week on The Walking Dead.
Next time on The Walking Dead. So next week's episode is titled Beside the Dying Fire. It's directed by Ernest Dickerson and written by Robert Kirkman and Glenn Lazar.
Ooh.
So Robert Kirkman has a hand in writing this one. I can't remember now. Did he write any of the rest of season 2? Because he did write that one in season 1. I don't know. So this might be his only season 2.
I called name and then the credits figured off.
No, I don't think so, but the first half of the season a while back. So
It's been a long time.
here's the summary. Rick and Carl return from the woods to find the farm in jeopardy. No kidding.
Oh, really?
The group is split up in ensuing chaos with things looking grim. Rick's leadership is questioned. Well, that means nothing.
Not a lot.
But here's the audio from this week's promo.
Next Sunday on season finale of The Walking Dead, 13 survivors battle an army of walkers.
Oh my god. Doesn't take long. This is my father's. How down you go.
The Walking Dead, the season finale.
Screaming
No, okay.
and Herschel making a last stand. Let's do some quick predicting here. Okay. Do you think they're going to kill off a major character for the third episode in a row?
I don't think. Oh, major character. I don't know. That's a tough call. Somebody's gonna die. It's the only thing I can think of. But who's left? Herschel's gonna die.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to. I mean, he's their medic, but I think they're going to kill off Herschel. I don't think they're going to kill Maggie.
No.
They're not going to kill Glenn. I don't think they're going to kill Andrea.
No.
A lot of people on the internet are speculating Lori's going to go to solve the pregnancy problem they have, but I don't think so.
No.
I don't think she's going. At least Herschel or Daryl. They're going to kill Daryl. They're going to love Daryl.
Yeah.
He's
Carol's
Carol's
dad or Jimmy.
They might kill Beth and or Jimmy. In addition to Herschel. I mean, that Green family might be a lot smaller by the end of next week. But that said, I'm not entirely convinced they're actually going to kill anybody. I think we've had 2 big deaths 2 weeks in a row here. They're going to give us a lot of action. They're going to give us a lot of running and zombie killing and narrow escapes and people trapped and things like that. Right. But I don't know if anyone's going to die. That's just what I'm thinking. That's fair. And having said that, we got an email from Troy in Indiana, and he says, I read an excellent review, an excellent interview with Robert Kirkman. I thought might interest you. He mentioned that in episode 212, which is the one we just watched, the script originally called for 2 major deaths, but at the last minute they decided to hold one off until 213, so they didn't bombard viewers with too much at one time. Randall obviously wasn't considered a major death, so I'm thinking it's got to be Herschel or Lori.
Maybe Herschel.
I think Herschel's the most obvious choice for another character. If this is true, I didn't have time. Troy sent this email just not long before we started recording, so I didn't have time to go and check out the interview yet. But I'm going to do that for sure before next week and see what context Kirkman was talking in there. But if Troy's to be believed, and I have no reason not to think so, then we might actually be in for another death next week.